How is everybody? Good? That was like the longest walk of my life. I didn't know what to do. It was awkward. Sorry.
So we have a couple questions for the lovely Zendaya, and
All
we're just
right.
going to dive right in. The first one, my dear, is why is bullying something so near and dear to you?
Because, I think I'm a young person, like everyone in here. I'm a teenager, and I think given the platform and like you were saying, the platform that I have, why waste my time tweeting about random stuff when I could be tweeting about something that is, actually important to me, or that actually is a part of something way bigger than myself. And we spend too much time on internet doing all the negative stuff, like commenting on each other's pictures or whatever, and making negative things more like trending on Twitter, when this should be what's trending on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? And I think as a young person and as the younger people, there's, I have fans that are in high school, but I also have fans that are in kindergarten. It's early nowadays, and I feel like if I can reach out to those first graders, second grade, third graders, and kind of get them started a little bit earlier, we're going to have better high schools and nicer high schools, You know what I'm saying? So I think that is why I'm here, because I feel like if I have a voice and I have that little bit of power that I do and influence, then you should use it for positivity. So I'm excited to be here, and be a part of this.
So speaking of that platform, there are so many people who have access to you just because of social media. So out of curiosity, how do you handle when people say mean things about you on Facebook and Twitter?
Okay, that is the biggest thing, because given that I am, in the public eye, Instagram, Twitter, like all that, there's hate websites, you know what I'm saying? And that, unfortunately, with success comes the negativity. And that's kind of what I signed up for, and I knew that that was coming. And that's why I've been building my self-confidence since I was really little. I think that is one thing that I always encourage, like my friends, my fans, my whoever, to build their confidence and realize that those flaws, like you were talking about earlier, I was like, yes, holla, because those things that we call like flaws, like that is the one thing that separates us from everyone else and makes you who you are. And for some reason, because we think it's different, we think it's weird. You know what I'm saying? But like for me, hey, that is my model skinny, and I'm going to turn that into a positive, and I'm going to be happy with that. And it's just little things like that. I have a crooked tooth. It's kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? It might stick out when I smile, but that's okay. So it's little things like that, and I think just loving yourself and finding that and making yourself almost bully proof. And that's something that I have, developed. So I realize that those Instagram comments or those Twitter comments, I will probably never meet those people in my life. And if I did, would they actually have the guts to say that to my face? Probably not, because you have to realize those people are using that shield of social media, because I'm sure something else is going on in their life. You have to have compassion for the bully as well, So whoever's on the other end typing that whatever, I feel bad for them as well. It's something that you have to have love for everyone, and so I have love for even the bullies.
You have such a fearlessness about you and such a sense of self, in spite of how many people have not only access to you, but feel entitled to an opinion on you. So where do you gain this sense of self from?
I think, obviously that doesn't come easily. And I'm still learning my sense of self, I guess you could say, because I'm only 17. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're all only teenagers, and it's not who we are, what we're gonna do, how we're gonna do it, because we're young and we're still learning out like how to be who we are. I mean, we're not, even when you're like 50, you're still gonna be trying to figure out who you are. Everyone is constantly growing and finding out new things about themselves, and you have to accept that. You have to accept the fact that you're still figuring that out, and that's okay. And I am totally okay with being 17 and growing at the normal 17-year-old rate, and living in this year, and living for 18 and living for 19, you know what I mean, and growing up at my own pace, and that just comes with time, confidence, self, whatever, it comes with time, and you just got to grow. So you have to take the time for yourself and figure that out. For everyone has their own way of doing it.
Speaking of struggling, what did you wake up struggling with today?
Struggling with today,
besides our early call time?
Besides trying to actually open my eyes, I think every day I feel like, I'm a perfectionist, so I'm always like trying to prove myself and always trying to do better and better. And if there's like maybe one performance that I didn't do as good, and then people like will pick on every little thing that you did wrong, I have to always forget about that, because for me, like, there's so many easy things that people can pick on, or oh, I don't like her this, or I don't like this song, or I don't like, it's gonna happen to me like as long as I live, because that's kind of what I chose and that's the life I live. So it's something that I constantly am aware of, people that are going to um basically pick on me, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, I have that confidence where I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's fine. I'm cool with that. And I've become bully proof in a way. Of course, it bothers me, and there's times where I read comments and I'm like, well, that kind of, that was a little stinger right there. But then there's also ones that I have to laugh at a little bit. I have to be like, wow, I don't even know you, dude. Like, come on now. And it's funny sometimes. And that's okay. Everyone has their own reactions to things. But my favorite thing is the off switch, the log out button. Like, if I don't want to look at it, girl, don't look at it. Don't open up that window. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to see a bad Facebook comment, don't post something on Facebook that would get the comment. So it's really easy. And I just, if I don't want to look at something, I don't look at it. And I submerge myself with something I love to do. I start making music, or I do something like this to keep my mind off of the negative stuff that I don't really need to waste my time on.
Who were your role models growing up?
Oh, that's a good question. I think, my parents, and I think that's why I love doing things like this, because both my parents are teachers. So my mom was a fifth grade teacher, and she was a middle school teacher as well. My dad was a PE teacher. So I saw throughout my life, these kind of issues happening, and them being, those, I guess you could say, people that kids were able to go to and talk to and confide in, being that they're teachers and they were, connected with their students. And I think that's also another reason why I like being a part of things like this, because it really, hits home for me. Like, I grew up in a classroom and seeing the craziness that goes on and hearing my parents talk about it. And I think that that's why I like to be involved in things like this.
If you could sit down with the middle school version of yourself,
Hmm.
and she was sitting right here in this chair,
Yes.
what advice would you give that little girl?
I would say, you know, honestly, I think my middle school, here's my thing. My middle school year was really smooth because I figured out after 5th grade. 5th grade was honestly the hardest year for me, which is, it's weird, but that's when like the girl cattiness kicks in at like 5th grade. Like, what do you even have to like pick on? You're only 10, 12, like, but that's when it happens, that's when it starts. And then I decided for middle school, I went to a new school, and it was obviously middle school, and I was like, you know what, girls especially, guys, you are a part of this as well, but girls especially, we have like this circle thing that we do. We pick on the girls, and then to get back on the girls, we pick on them, or we say something about them to someone else, who says something about them to someone else, who says something to their friend, who's like, girl, no, you didn't just say that about me, and it just keeps going, right? And that's the problem we have. And I think, the one thing that I was not going to be a part of that circle. I was literally one of those girls that I didn't say anything bad about people. There was nothing that, I think the best way to do that is like, people are like, oh, she said this. Well, if you didn't say anything, there's nothing you can pin on me. You know what I'm saying? I just was a positive person, and I tried to stay cool with everyone. If you're nice to everyone, then I feel like they give you that same response.
Out of curiosity, when you are stressed out, we were just talking about being stressed out, and you have a crazy schedule and the
Yeah.
expectations and the pressures. My goodness. What do you do when you're stressed out? How do you handle that?
My favorite things to do. I mean, honestly, people are like, okay, she must have like a cool life, like social life, like outside of like when I'm stressed out, or I stay at home and I sleep. I watch reruns of something on Netflix, and I eat ice cream. Like, I just do regular stuff. I go to the movies with my friends. They hang out. We have sleepovers. Like, it's really like I have no crazy cool thing that I do. I just like to chill and take my mind off things. And sometimes that is as easy as sleeping. Sometimes you gotta sleep it off, or sometimes You just got to get your mind out of all the crazy things that are going on, especially in school. I mean, there's tests, there's this, there's that. And sometimes, we get distracted and we, procrastinate quite a lot. But then there's also times where we have to give ourselves just a few hours of a day just to relax and breathe and do something that we love. If it's basketball, if it's going to the gym, if it's doing your hair, like, I don't know, whatever you like to do it, just for a little bit and just to get your mind off stuff.
So we have kind of a fun little thing, and this is just a rapid fire. So just off the
Ooh,
top of your head,
okay.
name of your first pet.
I have a giant schnauzer named Midnight. So he was my first and my current pet.
Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Sunsets or sunrises?
Ooh, sunsets because I am not awake when the sun rises. I can't enjoy that beauty. I mean, it's not for me.
Favorite day of the week?
Favorite day of the week, I think everybody's is like Friday, Saturday. But for me, it kind of just depends on what I'm actually doing that day because my schedule's kind of crazy. So whatever day is the coolest thing.
Whatever day you have off.
Exactly. There's that as well.
Totally. Did you sleep with a stuffed animal, and if so, what kind?
I did. I actually had like a whole bunch of stuffed animals. Like I had a whole bunch like kind of like around my room. I collected them for a little while when I was little. But I wasn't one of those kids sleep. Like I was just knocked out. If I was tired, I'd just go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely had my stuffed animals, and it's I still have my stuffed animals, and that's okay.
Favorite meal of the day?
Favorite meal of the day is dessert. Does dessert count? Anytime there's a dessert involved, I am there.
What's your favorite dessert?
Favorite ice cream. That is number one.
Amazing.
Ice cream and then anything chocolate.
Morning bird or night owl?
Night owl. We just discussed this. No way. Morning is not my thing. I think we can relate here. Anyone not a morning person? Thank you. All right. I'm not alone.
Currently, your favorite band?
Favorite band. Actually, I don't know my favorite band. I think I have like favorite artists, like my favorite artist of all time, Michael Jackson. Number two, Beyonce. Right? I mean, she's just so fierce. Like what?
So fierce.
Let's see. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Jacob or Edward?
Oh, I wasn't really a big Twilight fan. I'm sorry. I'm not like a Twilight obsession. I think I really like the movies. I'm sorry if I offended anyone, but I never like really got into it like that. Like I wasn't like a super fan. I don't have their cardboard cutouts in my room, but I say, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the movie well enough to make an educated guess. So I'm just gonna say Team Jedward. That's a
Perfect.
nice middle territory. No one can get mad at me for that one.
Motto of your life?
Motto of my life is DFTS, which is like this little slogan I created, which means don't forget to smile. And I like that because I think we always forget to smile, and sometimes we forget to think about the positive things in life before we think about the negative, and sometimes just the action of smiling can make you feel better. So I always try to spread smiles.
Awesome. And beaches or mountains?
Okay, here's the deal. Beaches, I like the idea of the beach, but when I'm actually on the beach, I'm not down because it's too hot and the sand gets in
Sandy.
your shoes and it's like, oh my gosh, you're messing up my hair with the wind and the water and then it's just kind of like, ugh. But I like the idea, like it sounds good, but I can't handle it when I'm actually there. So I don't know. It's a love-hate relationship with the beach.
Awesome. So now we're going to go into a couple questions that we actually have on Facebook.
Ooh, cool.
And the first one is from Alexandra.
Yay.
And she said, how do you deal with nonstop cyberbullying?
How do I deal with nonstop cyberbullying? Like I said, it's for me as easy as just not looking at it, and sometimes you kind of get obsessed with it and you want to read the comments, and after you start scrolling, like you just can't help but to keep going. Like it's like a problem we have in our generation. Okay, dude, I'm gonna take your phone. Like, just let it go. Just focus on something else, and they kind of make me do something I would rather do, and that's okay. There's no problem with logging out or not paying attention, deleting, blocking, all that good stuff, and just kind of staying away from. Because social media, it can be great and it can connect us and bring us together with things like this, but it can also be harmful. And I think it's about finding that balance.
Awesome. And this last one from Angela, she said, when kids around you are being mean, acting as bullies, how do you stop them or at least not take part? And she said, I know that this is something that a lot of kids struggle with.
Oh yeah. I think everyone has been in the hallway or been in a lunchroom or whatever and seen something go down and you're like, should I say something or is it like not my place? Like, do I, it's kind of awkward, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to like force anyone who really doesn't feel like comfortable doing that. If you don't feel comfortable stepping in and you just would rather, go away or talk to someone else, maybe a teacher or something about it, I can understand that. But for those of you that feel like you can do it, I would advise you to step up. And it doesn't have to, don't do it like, hey, you stop, like that's weird, you know what I'm saying? And it's also makes them like, why? Like then they're going to be mad at you. I think if you just like come to like a very like responsible young person that you are and say, hey dude, like if you could really, and explain your reasoning behind it, I think they'll shown and proved that you have this maturity level that I think that they will respect. And if not, then that's when you bring up a teacher, you know what I mean? So I think it can be done if you're comfortable with doing it.
Awesome. And I think we're going to dive into a trophy.
Oh
Is that
snap!
what
Hold
I've
on.
heard?
Actually, I had some Twitter questions for you as well. Is
Oh,
it cool if I
shoot.
ask you some questions?
Yeah.
Okay,
Bring it
here we
on.
go. Interview
Uh-oh.
voice.
I'm so nervous.
Okay. From Lisa, she says, I would like to hear some success stories. Okay. So, how do girls get bullies to change their ways?
Absolutely. It's interesting you say that because I was just talking about this show that I did with MTV, and it was A Secret Mean Stinks. And we had two girls that we highlighted, and one of the girls was an actual bully, and then one of the girls was a girl who was being bullied. And the girl who was a bully, she said that there came this moment where she was really mean to this girl, like the entire year at school, and they would make fun of her, and they made up this awful acronym to make fun of her. And she actually wrote the acronym in the yearbook of this girl. And over the summer, this girl ends up emailing her and was basically like, I don't think you've any idea how like much you're ruining my life. Like not just like hurting my feelings, but like I dread going to school, like all these things. And exactly what you were saying of like just telling her, just being honest and being like, I can't imagine that you're really this mean on purpose. But that being said, and sent this email, and this girl's name was Shauna, and immediately she calls this girl and she's horrified because as in most scenarios, they're the ones who are the most insecure and the most scared and the most all these things. And so she actually ended up going over to this girl's house, apologizing to her and to her mother, and was like, I'm so embarrassed. And they've been really good friends ever since. And since that moment, she said she had no idea the impact that she was having on people, but now is like such a vigilante for like bully, is like out there on a rant talking about how much this can make a difference. So I would say that is like the best success story
That's really cool.
I've ever come
actually.
across. Yeah, it was really cool. She like turned a foe into a friend. There was something really sweet about it.
That's really sweet.
I think maybe we're gonna dive into trophy time.
Okay,
because
let's do it.
We are having
Trophies?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So we want to bring a very special group of people to the stage, okay? So if the Granada Hills Charter High Anti-Bullying Club, please come to the stage and let's give them a very big applause. Yay! Come on, y'all. I think we can be a little louder than that. Do we have the award coming up? Look at how cute this award is. Can we just have a moment?
Pretty cute.
I think this is awesome.
And kind of geeking out over it before.
It's so cute. Like it's so cute. But this is, the first ever Secret Mean Stinks trophy. So can we get one more round of applause for that? And I just want you guys to make sure that this goes in the cabinet with all the other trophies and everything so that people can realize that this is just as important as a basketball trophy or whatever trophy, acting, singing, dance, whatever you guys have, teams you have here, this is just as important. And I think that we should continue to spread this and be proud of what, kind of accomplishments we have here. So thank you, girls, and we are all so proud of you, and I'm sure everyone watching out at their schools are very proud of you as well. So great job.
Awesome. And do you want to say something? Yeah.
You guys come on up.
We actually want to give them a quick minute to share a little bit.
You
of
take
this,
one.
right?
Oh wait, do you have a hand? You want me to hold it? I can hold it for you.
Hi everyone. How is everyone? Woo! Yeah. Well, I'm Kajol Gupta and I'm president of the Anti-Bullying Alliance.
And I'm Natika Thacker, and I am mediator of the Anti-Bullying
Woo!
Alliance.
And we just wanted to say that we're so proud to hear that Granada Hills Charter High School. So thanks, you guys, for making it such a great school. Thanks.
Awesome, congratulations.
And that's incredible. Congratulations. And I also want to say that this is the first of 5 trophies that we're actually going to be giving out this school year. So there's 4 more. So for any schools out there who are tuning in, you can go to meanstinks.com, and there's actually a section called Nicest Schools if you want to get your school nominated. On top of it, there's also a section called Steal This Idea, which are just really good ideas. Everything that we've been talking about today of integrating into the curriculum of your school in different areas for you to stop bullying. And again, I just want to say thank you so much. It has been such an honor for Zendaya and I to be here. And a couple thank yous real quick to, first off, another shout out to Granada Hills Charter High.
Woo!
Right? As well as, again, I just want to say the coolest thing about the era in which we live today is technology, and the fact that Google Plus Hangout is making this possible for this to be streamed live to hundreds of schools across the country. It allows this conversation to be taken into such a bigger realm. So we want to thank them, and Secret Memes Stinks for having the courage to take on an issue as big as this. And in closing, the assembly is about to end. It's going to be over pretty soon, and Zendaya and I are going to go back to our normal lives. And the reality is that we don't want this conversation to end here. We want this conversation to continue. And as I said before, you have an opportunity to change the world. And the only way in which that happens is for you the guts to stand up for the people in your life, because the world needs us to step up to the plate, and we can't do that if we don't feel good about ourselves. So just remember, mean stinks.
Mean stinks.
Thank you so much for having us.